Hello, welcome or welcome back. My name is Ari, and this video is going to be unboxing this giant, beautiful Once Upon a Book Club advent calendar. Inside here you get a book, and this is a 12-story short story collection. So each day you read a short story, and at a point in the short story you're going to get these highlighted things where it says open your gift. And then you're gonna find the present in there that has the corresponding gift number and open it. 12 days, 12 bookish inspired items. I want to say there's at least 4 actual physical books in here. I love books in an advent calendar. I just have to say that most of the time the books in here aren't really to my taste, but I still love this advent calendar. I have done this, I believe, the past 3, maybe 4 years. It has been wonderful every time. I keep ordering it. You can't buy it right now. You have to buy it in like October, but it's about $150, so be prepared for the price, but it's very, very fun to do. Today's technically, I think, day 3. I'm starting a little bit late, but yesterday I actually read story 1. I just didn't open the present, so I'm just gonna jump right into talking about it. So day 1 story is called Apparently It's Love, like APP-ARENTLY, so app, like a phone app. Apparently It's Love by Christy McManus. This is about academic rivals who are in an IT program where they create apps. She is like just a programming genius, and then he's like a legacy rich programming kid, and they both like compete. She, for the fun of it, I guess, created a dating app where you don't actually see pictures of the other person, you just like type and get to know them, and they end up meeting on there outside of their academic rivalry and kind of falling in love with each other, and then things butt heads. And he reveals that I eventually realized that it was you I was talking to, and buys her a present, which is, when this comes up, it's supposed to be a classic. I don't know if this is actually a classic book, but in here it's a classic book that she lost in a fire that her grandmother had gave her. He gave her like a first edition of this classic book. This is not going to be a first edition of anything. I guess it could be, but it's not going to be a first edition of a classic. And then she was like, wait, you had been talking to, I feel so betrayed. And then they have like the 3rd act breakup, which a 3rd act breakup is interesting in a short story, but they did it. And then everything ends happily ever after, because eventually she forgives him for lying to her and realizes that she loved her academic rival the whole time. But let's open this. Oh, we get the butt. This is Half Sick of Shadows by Laura Sebastian. I've already read this. It's not a classic, but I've already read this. Huh. I'm gonna go read day 2, open that up here in a second on camera, and then day 3 as well. Technically I'm behind, is why you're gonna see me wearing the same shirt for the next 3 clips. Not that I'm wearing the same shirt 3 days in a row. Okay, we have day 2's story, which is called Bound by Books by Logan Ashley. It's pretty much the sisterhood of the traveling pants, but instead of pants, it's a traveling book sleeve. And the short story is told from the perspective of the book sleeve. It's also magical and can write poems. So this is day 2's present, and from the story I thought it was a book sleeve, but this is very thin and doesn't really, I mean, I guess it could be a small book sleeve, but it's a very thin book sleeve, and there's also something like down here that's extra. So let's open this and see what we've got. It is indeed a book sleeve. Oh, it is not something extra, it's just the thing on it. So this is, books don't just go with you, they take you where you've never been, which is a quote from the story. And then open it up. You could stick your book right in there. Oh, there's presents in here. Oh, look at that. Oh, this is funny. So the book that she got in the book sleeve was People You Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. So we've got a little flyer for that. And then the quote, books don't just go with you, they take you where you've never been. So experience the magic and find what you need within. So in the story, these three girls like mail each other books in the book sleeve. And each time the book shows up, they pull out a quote with it. But apparently the book sleeve writes the quote, not the girls. That's kind of funny that they put the little Emily Henry thing in. Final one for today. I just read Ink and Intrigue, a Bookish Betrayal. And let me tell you, I did not expect a murder mystery in my little Happy Christmas short story collection. Our main character, Alice, her neighbor is murdered. And then she finds out that her neighbor is her aunt and that her mom murdered her. It is a wild, wild tale. And she murdered her sister over a man because she was jealous. It wasn't very well told, but it was wild. Our little present for today, at the time that this came up in the story, she got a stamp, like a stamp that says from the library of Richard Stewart. So I assume this is just going to say from the library of with like a blank line so you can write your own name. I believe it's going to be a stamp. Oh, and it's sealed. Unexpected. Unexpected tape is unexpected. And we have a very hard to open box even though I've already removed the tape. Oh my goodness. This is embarrassing. Okay. Stamp? Ooh, stamp and ink. And I am correct. It does say, I don't even know if you can see this. Okay, we do have a stamp. It does say from the library of, I would say take my word for it, but I'll use it so you can see. From the library of stamp. Kind of cute. Ink's not great, but there we go. Will I be using this? No. Do I still think it's kind of nifty? Yeah, sure. Honestly, I am not sure about day 4's story. This one was wild. So this is called The Queen of Appalachia by Danielle Barr. And it's from the perspective of this little girl, like a 12-year-old girl, as she drives through Appalachia with her mother. They're poor, and basically what they're doing is they're trading junk that they find for food at tiny little roadside shops and stuff like that. At one point in the story, the little girl's mom doesn't feel right and she goes to a clinic and dies. Just like out of the blue. And interspersed within the story is a radio show that the little girl likes listening to about a woman in the 70s who just like robbed a bunch of people, and some moonshiner. She finds out her mom was this infamous robber, and she was also the moonshine guy. It didn't, I don't, what happened in that story? That was not a very well told story, and I'm confused entirely. Mostly she finds out that her mom's like been lying to her entire life, which came to the present, which this was really weird. Like after her mom died, she's going through her stuff and she finds a paperback that has been well loved and well marked up, and her mom had already always told her she couldn't read. And that was literally like one throwaway line so we could get the gift, and it was not mentioned anywhere else. First off, I'm gonna tell you, this is not a paperback, so that's a thing. Yeah, I didn't like this story, if that didn't come across, but let's see what book we got. This is The Betrayals by Bridget Collins. I like the cover. I've never heard of this book. I don't even know what genre this book is. But okay, the cover's pretty. That's all I care about. Very pretty cover. Day 4 is not my favorite day, but hopefully tomorrow gets better. All right, day 5. This is a short story called Message in a Bottle by Adriana Waters, and it is about a magical Target water bottle. Now, how is this water bottle magic? Well, first off, it's being shared, I believe, between two different girls. And you can't drink out of the magic Target water bottle. You only get inspirational messages. These two girls are 11 years apart. One is just starting middle school. One has just graduated college and she's starting her first job. And when they're feeling sad, when they're feeling down, the magical water bottle shows up with a motivational quote inside of it. And the girls are basically directed to go to the same place by the magical quote in the magical Target water bottle. And then they talk to each other for a few minutes, and then they feel better about life. And they go home looking for a drink out of their magical water bottle, but it has disappeared. Yeah, that was about. I'm not going to discuss how I feel about this short story because I bet you could guess. So let's open our very own magical water bottle. The water bottle in the short story was ombre green and pink with books on it. I don't know if this is going to look like that at all, but I guess we're about to find out. Oh, it is kind of. Okay. Yeah, I guess I wouldn't say that's ombre green to pink. I would say that's ombre teal to purple. And it does have books on it. I don't know if you could see this. And a motivational quote, which says, "You are limited edition." I assume. Oh, we have a straw. And our motivational quotes. Oh, wait, I got a carrier string that is super stuck. Oh, there we go. And my motivational quote, which says, "A book a day keeps reality away." And, oh no, I just have two of the same motivational quote. That was probably supposed to go in somebody else's magical water bottle. Hopefully my magical water bottle doesn't disappear on me and actually allows me to drink water out of it. That's today's gift. It's a nice water bottle. This story was just dumb. Day 6 of the 12 days of book clubness. And today's story is called Adventures by Katie Evans. Now, this story is one of those stories that you have to really suspend your disbelief, and it is a very, very hard thing to do. This follows a girl named Kim, and Kim, years ago, I assume, got basically friend-zoned by this guy named Alex. But she's kind of held a flame for him ever since, though it doesn't seem like they talk much. Alex messages her out of the blue, and he's like, "Hey, my uncle is dying, my dad's in prison, but he got approved for furlough from prison where he could visit his dying brother, but they needed somebody to escort him from the prison to the airport, other than the cop who has to drive him from the prison to the airport." Like, she didn't have to get on the plane with him. She just had to make sure he got on the plane. Weird story. I don't know if any of this is actually, like, realistic. I don't know anybody in prison, but I can go with this. I could believe some of this. So that's what she does. And then there's all these like problems with him getting on the plane, which that's normal for an airport. And then it turns out he escapes on a layover that he wasn't supposed to have. The sick brother was fake and his son just scammed this girl so she would assist and they could all run away to the Cayman Islands, right? So all of that's weird, but in like the end of the story, they have a fake passport for her and a plane ticket to the Cayman Islands so she can go join them. This is a weird story. Also, this is the first one where I'm just entirely not sure what's in this gift. It says, She slid her hand into the gray pouch where she'd left her book, but her fingers didn't find her book. Instead, she found some stiff paper and a few other papers of different shapes. Is this a second book sleeve? Because that's the only thing I can think of, is that it's another book sleeve, which is kind of weird to get 2 book sleeves. Let's see. It looks like a second book sleeve. I guess it could be like a laptop sleeve. I'm not sure about this. So what are our fake papers? It says, "Let's be adventurers, darling." And then we have a plane ticket and a fake passport. Apparently that is the Elizabeth who got scammed. So I don't know that I want a fake passport. But yeah, and then we've got this, which is just a bunch of different pockets. This is the previous book sleeve I've got, so it's about the same size, honestly. It just has more pockets. Maybe you can use it as a laptop sleeve? I mean, kind of. It doesn't fit my laptop well, but I can force it in there. It'll fit a book. But what are like these extra pockets and stuff for? I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this one at all. Day 7 is a lovely little story called Finding Our Magic by Jessica Booth. And this is a cutesy little romance where 2 people end up trying to use a lake house on the same weekend. He's like a caretaker, and in exchange for taking care of this lake house, he is welcome to use it anytime that he wants. And then she is the niece of the owners of the lake house, and her aunt like encourages her to go get away for a week, chill out, stop focusing on work, whatever. End up there together, and then they fall in love. Because that's what you do when you end up with a strange man you've never met in your entire life at a lake house. If pressed, I would say the 2 main characters are 12 years old because they're doing things like playing hide and seek and tag. But no one asked me, so Day 7's present prize is a book. This one definitely feels like a paperback. So this is our first paperback. The context of her receiving this book is her grandfather died, and this used to be her grandfather's cabin, and he hid a book for her to find. And yeah, that's it. So this is a book that Grandpa is supposed to think that she'll love to read. And we have something that will come out of the paper. Let's go find our magic. And we have Band of Sisters by Lauren Wheeling. This seems like a World War II or World War I. It says the war with Germany, so literally could be World War I or World War II. Who knows? This is not really to my taste, not something that I would pick out for myself, but I don't tend to actually hate historical fiction, so I'm willing to give this a shot. Maybe I'll like it. I am wearing the same shirt I was wearing in the last clip because I visited my mother for Christmas and I didn't bring this stuff with me, so I'm playing catch up. We're gonna do a couple of these a day just to catch up and get this video out in a reasonable amount of time. Day 8, the story is called The Good Luck Girl by Riley Becker. In this story, we have a young woman who owns a pottery shop, and she has just bought a new house, even though her pottery shop's not as successful as it originally was when she opened. She's having a little bit of a bad luck, a downturn of customers, etc. While she's moving into the new house, she finds a bag in the attic, and there's a note inside this weekender bag that says, "Hope this bag brings you good luck and success." Apparently she takes this super literally and becomes crazily superstitious, and her business picks up. she's creating new things and she thinks it's only because of this bag. She can't go anywhere without this bag. Well, one day the bag goes missing and she realizes her dude friend stole it because he wants her to know that she is her own success. It's not this bag, it's not good luck, it's her own talent. And it turns out, yes, it is her own talent and it's not the bag. And that's the moral of the story. One cool thing and one lame thing about this story. Cool thing is her friend is deaf, and there is that representation in this book. They talk a lot in sign. The lame thing is I don't think the author's ever created any sort of pottery before, because she creates a mug and then sells it the next day, which is literally not possible. You have to like create the mug, let it dry overnight, then you have to fire it, which takes at least 24 hours, and then you have to glaze it, which is like a whole nother day or 2 days. So that's impossible to create a mug and then sell it the next day. So that was a little bit unrealistic. But day 8, I'm betting it's a messenger bag of some sort. I'm not expecting a lot out of the quality of this, but we'll find out. And indeed, it is a messenger bag. The quality of this is higher than I expected it to be, but it says my weekend is booked. Oh, the bookish puns. And we got the note in here that probably says, hope this bag makes you believe in yourself. You have no idea what you are capable of. So we have the top part, and then the bottom part will unzip as well. And you have extra storage down there. Ooh, and we've got little extras too. This is super fancy. So you've got like a shoe bag is what I would call that, and a little makeup bag. This is way nicer than I expected it to be. I have one of these, not like this, but I have the expensive beige one. Considerably more expensive than this one and bigger, but this is really cute. I don't hate it. Okay, it's day 9, and I read Yours Truly by Bonnie Callahan. The truly in here is Trulli, and it's apparently a type of building you can find in Italy, southern Italy. I don't know. I really disliked this story. Like greatly disliked this story. This is about some chick who has really bad daddy issues, even though her father passed away like 13 years prior to this story, and she is in Italy because her brother is getting married. And the characters in this book and the story is so like just red flags everywhere. It just made me so uncomfortable the whole time I was reading it. Her mother is like guilt tripping her, her brother's guilt tripping her. The story of her father that she is telling us is completely different from the story that her brother and mother say in the background about her father. Then there's like instances of her doing very unsafe things, like walking around this town in Italy in the middle of the night and just walking into some man's house. And there's like a section of the story about this guy named Nicola that she's introduced to, and apparently when her brother was trying to get her to meet him back in the US, his phone autocorrected Nicola into Nicole, and she's like, well, I don't want to meet women. And it's like, let's not do the not like other girls thing. But overall, it was just a really icky story. The gift. This was the wedding favor at her brother's wedding. And I believe it's a TBR game. It's a very weird wedding favor to have, but it fits the book box vibe. So let's pull this out, and there you go. TBR cards. You get a bunch of TBR cards, shuffle them, choose one, choose a book that ends with the words, and she lived happily ever after. I would never do this prompt. That's a really bad prompt. Let's try this prompt. Choose a book with a dragon on the cover. I mean, I don't have a lot of books with dragons on the cover. Choose a book about your favorite holiday. Halloween, I guess. But yeah, so you probably won't be utilizing these. But if I ever need another TBR game for some random reason, I have access to TBR cards. Day 10, we have a story called The Forgotten Library by Miranda Tuttle. It is an adventure fantasy following a young woman looking for a forgotten library, as the title states. Our main character is naive and easily scammed. That's pretty much what the whole book is her just getting scammed before finding this library. And yeah, it was fine. It wasn't great. It wasn't bad. It's fine. Our prize for the day is a book. Because it's a library. I mean, how is this not going to be a book? This is our fourth and final book. It is a hardback. Let's figure out what it is. Because the story was a fantasy, I kind of hope this book is a fantasy, but I doubt it is. Oh, this way. This is All Our Summer Skies by Trent Dalton. This is another historical fiction taking place during World War II in Australia. It comes with a little business card that says Dragon Friend Book Hunter, which is part of the story. Day 11's story is The Exact Right Place by Kim Chance. This follows Ellie, who almost 20 years ago met a boy Theo when she was having a bad day, and they had a one-day whirlwind romance. And at the end of the day, she had to flee her parents and their expectations, and she hasn't seen him since. But she works at a perfumery? I don't know. And she's trying to recreate the scent of him while reminiscing on their whole single day romance. I don't know. It sounds crazy, but it wasn't. It sounds kind of crazy, but it wasn't really that bad a story. So day 11 is a box, and I believe this should have like a hand lotion and a hand soap and maybe something else in here. All right, here we go. Ugh. Okay. Yes. Oh, it's just empty bottles. And then you can put hand soap, dish soap, face wash, or lotion on there. Alright, so these are nice, heavy glass bottles. I don't know if this is focusing, but it's got like bookish stuff all around the bottom of it. And then a nice, heavy, high quality pumps. I don't know what I'm going to do with these, but they're kind of cool. Maybe they could be regifted. Day 12, final day. This is The Different Shades of Amara by Zanya Kotubin. I don't know how to pronounce her name. This follows Amara, obviously, and she is older, like 30s, 40s. She's a teacher. She is Middle Eastern, and most of the book is spent in different Desi wedding events, and a lot of it's like the aunties trying to matchmake and stuff like that, which leads into our present. Her sister-in-law gives her a magical eyeshadow palette that makes her entire personality change so she's more appealing to men, which honestly I find that one of the most disgusting plots of a short story I've ever read. And yeah, the end of the book tries to make up for it. It doesn't do a great job, but it's like this man, her brother's best friend, always liked her for exactly who she was, and she didn't need to change. But general ew. But yeah, this is a Princess eyeshadow palette, I believe. Princesses of the world. There you go. And to be fair, it is like an actual princesses of the world. We've got a Bengali princess, Korean, French, South African, Armenian, and Samoan. German, Arabian, Irish, Egyptian, Brazilian, and Cambodian. So not just like Disney princesses, but like literal all over the world princesses. And that's what the palette looks like. These are all satin eyeshadows. And I don't really wear satin eyeshadow. I don't wear makeup at all, but I would never choose a satin eyeshadow because matte, yes, like sparkly, yes, but somewhere in between matte and sparkly, no. But yeah. Alright, so that's everything. All in all, it was pretty impressive. I'm not mad at the stuff that came in this box. I've always enjoyed this advent calendar, but it's so much better this year and the price didn't go up or anything. But everything's high quality. There's a couple of things that I won't really use, but that didn't like really diminish the quality on anything. And yeah, color me impressed. This has sold out. It usually sells out in like July, sometime between like July and October. So if you want to get one next year, make sure you subscribe to Once Upon a Book Club's mailing list and they'll send you emails telling you when it's ready for pre-order. Anyway, thank you for being here. I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is my birthday and we're gonna do my favorite books of the year. So I'll see you then. Bye.